All right, here we go. We are doing pen and ink again today. This time you get to choose your subject matter. So I want you to draw me something that you love, something that represents you. For me, I love books, I love coffee, and so I have coffee and books on my sheet. You will have the option to take some encyclopedia paper home. I've got a whole stack that I'll bring with. So if you grabbed one, that's awesome. It's super fun to draw on book paper. Otherwise, you can do your project on either your sketchbook or the white sheet of paper I sent home with you. Alright, so like I said, you're going to draw something that you love. It could be video games, it could be animals, it could be anything. Anything that represents you. So we're going to be using pen and ink. Like I said, you can use the little Sharpie, you can add in some big Sharpie, you can use the ballpoint pen, and you can even use some colored ballpoint pen, or even colored Sharpies if you like. But be careful getting heavy-handed with Sharpies, you lose a lot of definition in there. We're going to use pencil, you probably need an eraser, and that's pretty much all you will need. In class, we will have gone over this sheet and this sheet again. We're going to use all these different techniques to shade. So you can use hatching. I use a little hatching over here on the side. I used cross hatching on the tabletop. I used scumbling obviously in the background. I didn't really do a whole lot of stippling, but I did do some contour lines to go around the coffee and the candle. And for colored pen, I could have added like flames. I could have made the yellow, red, orange flame. I could have added some color in the coffee or just the coffee cup. So you can add a touch of color wherever you want. I think it'd be lots of fun. Okay, so we're gonna get started. You will need a reference photo. So I just went online and grabbed a reference photo. This is the one I'm gonna kind of go off of right now. But the thing to watch for sure, to be certain, is to fill your page. The whole thing. Corner to corner, edge to edge. Fill up the page. I don't want a little illustration that size in the middle of your page. So, I'm going to start with my pencil. Obviously, I'm going to lightly sketch. So this is kind of on a couch cushion. I want this to fill up my page, so I want my coffee cup to come all the way up here. So that means my books are going to have to be big enough. Alright, so my first book, we're going to go from the top down. It's kind of a straight back book. We have a second book, third book, fourth book, and then a skinny book. So my last book is going to rest right about here. Alright, you notice I am not being super precise with my lines. With pen and ink, it's a little harder to be really perfect. So we're not going to worry about perfection. We're going to worry about getting a fun drawing on the page. Let's see, and this book is kind of tipped a little bit. There's some old books that are kind of dilapidated. Kind of see their paper edge. Alright, and this book is going to sit right on top. It really is valuable to have a reference photo. You might feel like you're cheating, but you're not. I think we've talked about this before in class. Oops, that's not the line that goes anywhere. That needs to come this way. It's definitely not cheating in any way to use a reference photo. And my last book is right here. Alright, so I'm going to work on my coffee cup. I can really not even see, there's no, I think I'm going to make this a little more from the top down because I like to see in the coffee cup. I'm going to put a little bit of a lip there. It kind of has a fancy little handle here. All right. Now you can see my light source, you see that, is really from this side. So this whole side, this coffee cup, from really, there's different shades, like that's really dark there, and it starts to taper, and by here it's light. So when I go with my pen, I can actually leave those in as reference. Then I know that, and so when I look into my cup, this is where my shadow is going to be because the light source is from here. So my shadows are going to be around there. Hope that makes sense. All right, and so I have a really strong shadow here on this side of the book, and then all of these books are going to be shadowed on this side. I'll go straight. All right. So now I'm going to go in with my pen. This is where it gets, put the pen to paper, right? All right. So I'm going to start with my coffee cup because that is the focal point, and that's just where I want to start. You can kind of go all over the place. Start wherever you want. And I'm just going to outline my lines. And there really is kind of a defined line over there. I didn't quite go to the right edge, so I'm going to bring that in just a little bit. There. All right. And like I said, my lines are not super straight. They're kind of double lines almost, which gives it kind of a, I don't know, I like the look of it, so it doesn't bother me if I have multiple lines. It kind of gives it a sketchy, rustic feel. See, I didn't go far enough back with that one. There's time and place for it, and I would say that this is that time of release. It saves you from having to be super exact. Alright, so there is my initial outline. I am going to put this couch cushion you can kind of see the cushion there. I suppose I could even put in the arm. Just to show that it's kind of a okay, so I went all the way to the top of my paper, and I am going to fill this all in with whatever kind of technique I want. So on this one, I did even put the leaf, the pages in. I'm having trouble talking. I put even the pages in, so don't be afraid to do that. Okay, so I'm going to add some coffee to my cup because obviously it's going to have coffee if it's mine. And that is going to come all the way to the closest edge because you're not going to be able to see in there. And then you'll see a little bit of the lip of that coffee mug. And then I am going to kind of darken that up a little bit more on that side. Alright, and then I'm going to start with my coffee cup. And this one I did contour lines coming around the edge. So I kind of want to replicate that because, you know, your coffee cup is curved. So we want our lines to be curved. Now you can see that line is where my darkest shadows are going to be. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to kind of lighten those up as I go out. Okay, so you can kind of see that curve start to take shape. So I'm going to do heavy-handed, close together here. I can even go back over to give it that darkness, especially here, so I'll do a little cross-hatching to add in that depth on that corner. And then come out. And I'm going to go all the way down. Alright, and notice my curves match the top lip and the bottom rim of the cup. It's the same contours, the same shape. Whatever angle you need to do the paper at, if you need like that, if you, whatever, turn your paper. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, I'm going to do a little more cross-hatching there to darken that edge up. Let's look at the picture, if I still have it. There it is. So this side's much, much darker. Okay. There's even a little darkness right on the inside of that handle. All right, then let's see, we have a little shadow spot right here on the top of the book, so I am going to just scribble some of that in. Okay, and then again for the pages, I am just going to run lines. All right. So I'm going to continue on that way with the books, and I'll, darken anything that's really dark. I want it to kind of look realistic. I really like realistic looking drawings, so anything I can do to make things look realistic, I enjoy that. All right, so moving on. For the background, I think I'm going to kind of scumble in a little bit of a pattern. So I'm just going to dive right in. It's just kind of a paisley pattern back here, but I'm just going to put some random scumbles in and see how I like it. If I don't like it, I'll try something different. When you're scumbling up to the edge of the glass, be careful not to go entirely in it. But that's the nice thing about pen, is you don't have to be quite as perfect. This isn't well, this project isn't meant to be perfect. A little bit up here. Put scratch paper down so I could just run off the edge of the paper, so I don't have to worry about I'm kind of doing a reverse effect, so this is kind of where the lighter colors of the paisley are, and I'm leaving the green background fabric kind of the negative space. I never realized how fun scumbling was. Alright. Now, I'll have to test this paper. I don't know if the pen will erase well on this. I know on the encyclopedia paper, you could easily erase the pen because it kind of soaked into the dry paper. This is sketch paper, so let's see, does it smear? If I go really lightly, I can erase. So keep that in mind. If you let it dry for a little while, and then you can lightly go over and erase any lines you might have. Yeah, not bad. I just drew there and it came off, so maybe before I go into my books. All right. And too on the. Now this is much darker, but coffee break. So this is the general idea of what you're going to be doing. I want you guys to have lots of fun with it. Find a reference photo you enjoy. You do not have to follow it perfectly. It's just for reference, just an idea to follow. I'm going to keep working on this, and I will pop back when it's done and show you. Again, I don't know that I'm going to use any cross hatching other than what I did there, that I did here. So I used the cross hatching. Did I use any just hatching? I don't think I did. Just try everything out. If you want to use stippling, you're welcome to use that. If you want to add color, like I said, I could have added like yellow and orange and red to this flame. Be kind of fun. So I will pop back when this is done. Okay, so I got here. As you can see, like I tried to make it a little bit lighter on that edge. And I'm going to do a little cross hatching here. So the book is kind of colored. You know, it's kind of dark. So I am going to do some cross hatching on here, just to add color and texture. You can see the shadow that was cast by the light, so I made sure to get that in there. Can go along pretty fast until you get to these longer. Okay, so I added a little cross edge there to add a little texture to that book. I can even make it a little closer together if I wanted. Okay, do the same thing for that book. Just shows something a little bit different. Let's I almost lost my line there, right there. Don't want to lose our line. That bottom edge of the book would be a little darker anyway. That sits on the top book. This one's going to be lighter because it's sitting on top, so my cross hatches are going to be a little more spaced out. See the difference there? And I can even do that. Let's see, there's a nice edge on that book. I can even do that here. So I'm gonna then there. If I wanted, I could put embellishments on my cup, but I don't think I'm gonna. So there you have it. This is what I love. Books and coffee. Enjoy creating. Have a great week.